Hey, syndicators, you are ready to grow. You're at 3 million assets under management. You're getting ready to get to 30 million. Or maybe you're at 20 million assets under management and you're ready to go to 200. The way to 10x is with a team, mm, a motivated team. Until you have a motivated team that's working for you, you are stuck in the mud. Now, you can try to grow, but you're not going to without a motivated team. What you're going to do is you're going to get one of three things. You're going to work a ton until you're burned out. You're going to stay exactly where you are in the same systems, in the same busyness, or you're going to have a ton of turnover in your team and be constantly hiring and firing people. Here is how you create a team that's motivated for you. Now imagine having a group of people who work for you, but not only that, psychologically, they are conspiring for your success. These people are actively rooting for you to get rich and to build an awesome legacy. Wouldn't that be really, really cool? We are going to talk about how you can take team members and turn them into raving fans of you and your business today with visionary leadership communication style. This is something that's really quite new in the psychological research, and so I'm excited to give this to you. Hey, everybody, I'm Chris Schweigel, founder and CEO of Infinite Skies. We help real estate syndicators 10x their portfolio with mental performance coaching. We work exclusively with syndicators. So if you're not one, tune this out, right? Or listen, I guess. Maybe you could learn something to make you a capital raiser and syndicator yourself. This is exciting stuff. And I love this psychology because we're getting at some real KPIs here for soft skills. And soft skills are only called soft because they can't be measured. Hard skills were originally hard skills because they could be done with a machine. If it can't be done with a machine, it's called soft skills. Soft skills are your team. Your team is going to be super vital to you. And by team, I'm talking about your employees here. Now, other people that you might include on your team would be someone like legal, accounting, bookkeeping, marketing, sales. If you have those different departments, they could be your team, or vendors could be your team. All in all, this can all work. So, we are going to talk about how to get your team working for you, conspiring for you in three ways, all backed by research in the past 10 years. So, the first step is to tell your vision, to portray your vision, to live your vision. Visionary leadership, as they call it, has been proven to be true. This is the right way to do it. I'm going to teach you little tips and tricks to take you to the next level here. In step two, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the other way around. Instead of you communicating to employees, how can you get employees to communicate with you? We're going to make this a two-way street right here. So we're going to talk about a psychological concept called individual concern. And last but not least, we're going to bring it all together. How can everyone align their goals and meet in the middle? A psychological concept called sense of mission. Sense of mission is what gets your team working for you secretly, psychologically, subconsciously. All of your goals are aligned. When they win, you win. When you win, they win. So let's get into it. Welcome. Part one, we're going to talk about a vision. Now, you should already have a vision for your business. Mission, vision, values. One of the very first things you create in your business. And this is a way that you can vet out potential partners, vendors, people you're going to work with, even investors, and especially your team. Now, I really like the EOS system for creating this. I think they call it the VTO in the EOS system. Excellent, excellent way of getting your vision down on paper, not just today, but for in a year and in 5 years from now. Really exciting stuff. So after you're done creating that formal mission, vision, values, you've got to put it up everywhere. You've got to let everybody know all the time. You've got to communicate it in two different ways: verbal, nonverbal. verbally. At the beginning of every single meeting, start with your mission, vision, values of the company. You wouldn't believe this, and it seems counterintuitive, right? Like you're ramming down the company's mission, vision, values to people. But this comes back a lot in the research, and I was really surprised to get this, is that employees get fired up when they know what the company's mission, vision, values are, which seems really interesting. It's a way where other people maybe are different than me because, well, maybe that's why I'm an entrepreneur, because I want to have my own mission, vision, values. But people love it when they're very, very clear about what the company is doing. This pumps employees up. And what's interesting here is if you go into like industrial organizational psychology about what motivates an employee, money is number three. Number two is employee recognition, like recognize when I do a good job. But the number one thing is tell me what the heck I'm doing. What am I doing here? Just tell me exactly what it is. And I think that fits in here with the mission, vision, values. Tell me what the bigger picture is. Tell me what we're all working on so that I can figure out if I'm in line with this or not. And then the last, what you got to do is you've got to communicate this in a non-verbal way. So if your mission, vision, values say one thing and you're acting a different way, everyone can smell right through that. Everyone can see right through that bullcrap. I think we all know someone that we've worked for or seen in our lives who says one thing, hey, every voice counts, but it's really my way or the highway. We all see that. Communication is 93% nonverbal. So make sure you're doing that and make sure that you are acting in a way that is congruent with the mission, vision, values. Also, make sure that you're carrying yourself in a way that's congruent. People are always watching you as the leader. Make sure that you're not gossiping or talking smack about other people. Make sure you're keeping confidential things confidential. Make sure that you are making decisions and following through on them. Make sure that you're willing to have difficult conversations. All of these things kind of add up to this congruency with the mission, vision, values. And last, make sure that you're open for feedback. The whole micromanaging kind of like top-down perspective of leadership is dead. What's happening now is a top-down zoom up, top-down zoom up. Employees want to be heard. You've got to be available to listen. So make sure that happens, which leads us into part two of this 3 parts for creating conspiring employees. Part 2 is about what we call something called, part 2 is all about individual concern. Now, individual concern is a psychological concept, and it's always a psychological concept when in the research it's in quotes. Like they can't be jargony or cool at all. They might even say something like, "This looks cool." So this is individual concern, and what that means is basically where the employee feels like leadership cares about them as a person. So of course, like we're not family. Don't call your employees families. They're employees. They're a team. Teams have team members that come and go. Families don't have people who come and go. So please call your team a team and not a family. But also, when you're talking to your team, get to know them as individual people. That's really, really important, especially nowadays. People want to be heard. People want to express themselves. Allow them to. They won't disrupt. What they're going to do is create a culture, and you're going to help guide them through that culture. So the first step towards individual concern is creating a culture of psychological safety. Psychological safety is where someone feels like, right? And this is subjective. They feel like they can express themselves and express concern with the company or with other people within the company without fear of retribution. So basically, like a no retaliation zone, a judgment free, no retaliation zone. Now, you want this anyway. You want everyone in your company to be able to go to you or to whoever they report to and let them know any concerns that they have about another employee, another team member, an investor, a job, due diligence not being done, whatever it is. If there's something that's broken, you want to have every single person on your team having the psychological safety to bring it to your attention. And so this is something that you create over time. And here's how you do it. First of all, you ask for positive and negative feedback about someone's job. I like to call this a reverse review. So a lot of times in an annual review, the person on top will be talking to the employee saying, "Hey, this is what I noticed. These are things that are great. These are things that aren't going great. What do you think? Do you agree? If so, we're going to give you a 3% raise or 4% raise, whatever that is. Let's That's okay, I guess. There's ways to improve upon that for sure. And it should never be a secret, or never should never be a surprise what's brought up in a review. That should be ongoing conversations. But I digress. What I'm talking about now is a reverse review. This is where you have quarterly meetings every 90 days with an employee, or every 6 months, I suppose, about how am I doing? How would you rate me? How would you rate the company? What are the positives of working here? What are the negatives of working here? Trust me, by asking about the negatives, they won't instantly think of them and leave. No, that's a fallacy. That's not true. What they're going to do is they're going to tell you. And of course, they're not going to tell you at first, but in time, when they feel safe enough, they'll tell you. And that's the feedback that keeps people there, because you can either make a change or you can know it's there and address it right away. So this is really interesting stuff. A lot of people who are in leadership positions, yourself included as the CEO or founder, they don't know how to talk to employees, and they want to know what they're thinking, but they don't know what to do. And here's the big solution. You ask them. You ask them. Yeah, they're not going to leave. You can even say something like, "Hey, in this reverse review, hey, I appreciate you, and I know that you have the skills to go anywhere else, and I know that you're not going to be working here forever. What is it like working here right now?" What that does is it gets the elephant out of the room. When you're labeling the things that they're worried about, when you're labeling the concerns, it's just like in sales, you're getting the objections out there ahead of time, so that they can say is, "Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. It'd be nice if we had some more training. I would feel better if we had more SOPs in this area. I don't quite know what I'm doing. This person over here really isn't holding up to the standard, and I have to do a lot of their work." All those things are fantastic, fantastic bits of feedback that you're not getting right now because you're not asking these questions. Just ask them. They'll tell you if it's safe. Next, get to know your people on a personal level. Get to know their personal vision. What do they want for their lives? What do they want for their family? What pumps them up? What excites them? Do they like brewing beer and disc golfing like my neighbor Carl? Do they like mowing their lawn every single day like my neighbor Carol? Do they enjoy constructing and looking at beautiful architecture and artwork like my friend Eric? Whatever it is that really gets them going, please get to know what it is so that you can ask them about it. There's no better way to create a rapport and a bond with people and get them rooting for you and conspiring to help you get rich than getting to know them personally. Get to know their family members' names, get to know their pets' names, get to know where they live and what they like to do on the weekends and all that kind of stuff. We'll get to why this will help you later in part 3, but for right now, just ask them. Just have a chit chat, get to know them, get to know them. Next, what you can do is you can create, um, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Last, I just wanted to write here on my notes. Don't be afraid to ask them. I put that down twice because it's really, really important. Make sure that you are asking them exactly what they like to do in their life, exactly what they like about their jobs, and exactly what they don't like about their jobs. It's really, really important if they can do that. So now you've got this two-way street, but how do we meet in the middle? That's part 3 right here. Part 3 of creating employees and team members who work actively to make you rich is a concept called sense of mission. This is the topic in industrial organizational psychology, the psychology of people at work. This is the concept that says when I, as a team member, am aligned with the company, I have a sense of mission to help that company. For instance, if we raise $5 million and purchase another mobile home park, I can get a 10% raise and get the title of Chief Operating Officer. That's a sense of mission. If we raise $6 million and buy this multifamily building with a flex industrial on the land, then what I can do is I can get a bonus and a week off to take my family to Disney, or I get guitar lessons, or I get special kudos. This is where it gets really, really fun. This sense of mission is where everything's aligned. And there's some interesting questions here where you can really get a little bit deeper into kind of, I don't want to say manipulating, but in strengthening that connection that your teammates have to you and to the company. First, know what they want in their life. Know what milestone they're looking forward to next. Hey, how would life be awesome for you? An extra 40K a year, having a car, having another 10 days to spend with my family, finding a safe place for my grandma to go to assisted living. Whatever it is, you don't know until you ask. So ask them, how can we make your life a little better? And of course, no guarantees you can, but now you find out what's motivating them on a really deep level. Next, find out what they enjoy doing about their work and what's hard about their work. Celebrate both. Celebrate what they enjoy doing, give them shouts out for stuff that they're really, really good at, and also know what they don't want to do and that takes some effort to do, and give them a big shout out for that too. You want to celebrate effort, you want to celebrate courage, you want to celebrate those milestones of achievement that helps them become better people in the world. I know. Then they're more armed to have more skills, higher morale to leave you. But they won't. They won't. Because you're going to train people so well that they could get any job in the world, but they want your job because you treat them so well. Last but not least, remember to celebrate teamwork. Anytime you see a team member enacting part of your mission, vision, values, you've got to point that out. You've got to point that out and celebrate them in front of everybody. You got to make sure that people know that teamwork matters, that being engaged with the team and acting with integrity matters. Ask how the company can serve them. Now, you've had a job before. Have you ever had a boss say, how can the company serve you? Now, maybe it doesn't work out, but just by asking that and knowing the answer, you know their motivation. And maybe one day you can. For instance, if I'm the employee and say, I would really like to take my family on a trip to Disney, if we achieve this next milestone, if we take down the next 3 deals, then my commission bonus can be an all inclusive 8-day trip to Disney. I'm going to be really pumped up to make sure that you get rich. And so that's how you create employees that are motivated to work for you, who are conspiring to make you rich, who want to and feel compelled to see your success. It's because you care about their success too. So remember, part 1 is all about creating that mission, vision, values, talking about it all the time, living it all the time. Part 2, individual concern, getting to know each individual person on the team's goals for the business, goals for their life, and then goals for their legacy. Let's call that the impact that they want to have with you and with others. In part 3, sense of mission. How can the company serve you? How can you best serve the company? Let's celebrate success together. So go out there and create an awesome, awesome, scalable business full of team members who love working for you. See you next week.